Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last and final deciding game of Join Dota League Season number 2, the European final, HEHE versus Meteor Makers. Man, it has been kind of a roller coaster in some ways because HEHE, they kind of dominated game number 1, whereas Meteor Makers, they just let HEHE taste their own medicine in game number 2. So in game 3, who's gonna get the upper hand? We'll find out soon enough, I guess, as we get into the draft. My name is Coucher, and once again, I'm joined by Mike Lores.
I think a lot of it does come down to the lanes. Like, obviously that doesn't really say much because in Dota it is a lot about the lanes, but in game number 1 HEHE had definitively better lanes. In game number 2 MYM had that edge. So, I mean, having better lanes obviously puts you into a better stage at the mid game, but that comes down to the draft. So we'll see how strong these lanes are for each respective side, and I don't think that it'll be good for HEHE to put Mirana back mid, because that inherently is not a strong lane. They need as much as they can in the beginning in order to make that push and hopefully roll the other team.
Yeah, I mean, the first game we saw HEHE, they just got an early lead with a just really excellent roaming, solo roaming, to be honest. A Mirana just landing arrows left and right early on, just setting up the first 2 to 3 kills pretty early on and just getting an early advantage. So, like you said as well, it just really comes down to the lanes, and so often whoever gets the momentum first will just completely roll away with the game. It's so hard to actually try to stage a comeback. Of course, it depends a lot on your team composition as well and your general lineup. But at the moment, Meteor Makers, they had the first pick. They went for a Skywrath Mage, actually, even prioritizing it over a Doombringer, for example.
Yeah, Doombringer, though he is a strong hero, the aggressive support that you get from Skywrath Mage means that your lanes are going to be that much stronger, and, well, they're going to be pretty important in this game. Doom is very capable in whatever lane he's in, but really he's not the kind of hero that dominates a lane. Like, he can do fine, but he's just going to do fine. Like, that's about as good as it's going to get for him. So I do like this opening from Meteor Makers. Brewmaster would have also been a really good pickup, I feel, because Brewmaster is a hero that's very explosive once he gets his level 6, and if you win 1 or 2 team fights off of an early split, and that could certainly snowball you forward. But it looks like this game we're going to be seeing Centaur very highly prioritized once again.
It wouldn't surprise me if the secondary pick was like either a Razor or maybe a Viper even for HEHE at the moment. Just get really solid cores. Of course, both are tanky heroes as well. I mean, for example, a Centaur, you can't really expect to bring him down with just a Mystic Flare. You need a little bit extra to do so usually. So yeah, Razor is the pick for them, but Meteor Makers now, they can go for either like an Earthshaker or the Brewmaster still available as well. And given that HEHE didn't go for the Doombringer and Meteor Makers had the Skywrath themselves, those are the 2 most common counters to the Brewmaster nowadays. So, could be a viable option for them.
Yeah, I still like the Brewmaster for MYM here. It's not the best matchup versus the Razor, but I mean, Razor it's hard to match up against him, and I think if they do go for Brewmaster, then HEHE will probably want to go for a Viper in their second round of picks. Would be the Razor Viper 2 agility tanky heroes that they ran in the first game, and it worked very well for them in the first game because, well, spoiler alert, they won that first game. If they do that same thing, then they'll have lanes pretty much on lockdown, but Death Prophet, the pick for Meteor Makers, well, we saw how well Death Prophet matched up against Viper. I think MYM should probably look to ban that one out here.
Yeah, it's highly likely at least they should be aware of the fact that it might come out or just be afraid of it a little bit. But having a Death Prophet now for Meteor Makers, the only thing that they lack at the moment is just having solid lockdown, I guess, to stop TPs or something from happening, or just being able to chase down people properly. But of course it's still so early in the draft, and unless he ban out a Tidehunter now, I could really see Meteor Makers just easily going for one. Ravage is plenty of setup for the Mystic Flare usually, and just keeping people in place to let the Death Prophet just deal damage, whether it be via Crypt Swarm or just get the Exorcism to run around.
Ravage also a great counter initiation for when the Stampede is popped from the Centaur, because usually when the Stampede is popped, everyone wants to get in. Like, you kind of forget about your positioning a little bit once you have that max boon speed and once that sound effect plays, so that means that the Ravage is probably going to hit onto more people than it would otherwise. So it's a great counter initiation tool. I agree. For MYM, it would be a very solid pickup. It's a lane that's, again, very hard to lose. And Centaur versus Tidehunter, though Centaur is one of the more capable heroes in that matchup, Centaur should have that edge. As now we see second ban for MYM, they take out the Mirana as well as the Earthshaker. So targeting the real good supports, and HEHE are going to run out of the real supreme A+ tier supports as Skywrath Mage, Earthshaker, and Shadow Shaman are all banned out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a little bit sad to me that we don't see almost any Rubik at all nowadays. Of course, sometimes when it's just still like you have an Enigma, Doombringer, Faceless Void, something like that, Rubik does make it into the pool every now and then. But not happening. I guess something like an Ancient Apparition wouldn't be too bad either as a support. And you have Wraith King. Well, even that just got taken out of the question at the moment, so I have no clue what they want to go for. If they wanted to, they can even still pick up something like an Enigma if they want to go a little bit greedier, just get some extra farm through the jungle.
Maybe they'll just be targeting a couple of supports with stuns simply so that MYM can't pick up those stuns. I mean, you really do want to have some sort of stunning action when you're facing up against a Centaur, just because if you don't, then they'll just run away. But as it stands right now, Brewmaster is still in the pool. I guess both teams kind of forgot about that hero. It's not often you see that happening, but it will be a pretty good pickup for either end. It looks like HEHE, for now, going to get a little bit of setup in combination with their Centaur, and also possibly open the door for something like an Invoker for Sunstrike combos.
Yeah, I mean, Invoker, having an easy setup for Sunstrike is always something you want to have when you run that hero. And not only would the disruption be easy setup, it would even be amplified by the Soul Catcher, of course. And even Soul Catcher just into Double Edge, for example, is so devastatingly painful. So Shadow Demon is definitely a strong hero in its own right. The Demonic Purge can help potentially maybe even set up kills on Death Prophet, for example, just make it so that he can't run away. But Tidehunter is the pick for Meteor Makers after all. And HEHE now, I wouldn't be too surprised if they went for a Viper, to be honest. Just overall, a nice tanky hero. Get some additional slow, although they would maybe lack a little bit on the stun side then.
A Invoker, or Brewmaster, or Viper, those would all be some really solid heroes for HEHE to pick up, especially the Brew or Viper, more on the tanky end. They could withstand a Ravage and potentially even a Mystic Flare and still be able to walk away from that. The Death Prophet matchup should be pretty straightforward for whoever HEHE want to lane up against her, and then at that point, you got to worry about the Tidehunter. Centaur, as you mentioned before, does do a truckload of damage. A maxed out Double Edge with a maxed out Soul Catcher is 600 magic damage, so that's, you know, like a finger of death casually on a 8-second cooldown. It's okay. It's pretty good, and when you're dealing with the Tidehunter, you would really like that burst from you'd like the burst from spells to kill him off, because if you rely on your right clicks, then you're just going to get Anchor Smashed, and it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah, the Anchor Smash is just so damn strong. I mean, 60% base damage reduction there. It is so hard to go up against that. And at the moment, I mean, Razor, I guess he can probably stay at a distance from the Tidehunter. But even so, just definitely not a favorable thing to do. But HEHE now, their fourth pick about to come out. I mean, we have no idea, of course, what's going through their drafter's mind at the moment, or in their TeamSpeak, or whatever program they may be using. So maybe they're planning something elaborate for us, just something completely crazy and out of the box to just eke out the victory in game number 3, just catch Meteor Makers by surprise maybe.
Taking a secondary stun hero would certainly be very useful. As far as the more fringe heroes, I'm trying to think of what would be really good for them here. I don't think they're going to be going for anything like an Abaddon or a Treant. I just don't think it works very well with their lineup. They want to be aggressive with what they've crafted so far, and there we go. There's some aggressive heroes. It's going to be a Kunkka. Do you think this could possibly be a support Kunkka?
Yeah, I was actually just trying to figure that out myself. I do believe it could be run quite easily, just Shadow Demon Kunkka roaming. It's extremely potent, to be honest. Although Kunkka, I mean, I guess his mana pool isn't worse off than that of like a Sand King or an Earthshaker. Just get a few clarities and you'll be fine. Disruption into Torrent and should be easy kill on literally any lane, to be honest. I mean, maybe Tidehunter is a little bit tankier, but even so, having a third hero there probably is going to be enough. Whether it be support or just a mid lane farming Kunkka, I wouldn't mind either one, to be honest, because just seeing that hero is already good enough.
I think I prefer support a little bit more. I mean, it'll mean that HEHE have a little bit more roaming capabilities, since Shadow Demon Kunkka can roam to, as you said, pretty much any lane, with the exception of maybe the Tidehunter lane, and get kills. And that's really important if you have a really aggressive roaming start for the Razor and the Centaur Warrunner and whoever their last pick is going to be. If it does end up being a Brewmaster or a Viper or an Invoker like we were talking about before, then they could literally go into any lane and get kills. So I would like to see a little bit more of roaming Kunkka, and he will have a much better time doing that, or he should have a much better time doing that than if he was sitting in the mid lane going toe-to-toe with the Death Prophet. That would be a lane that the Death Prophet should be pretty comfortable in.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I wouldn't really even put it past HEHE to just still maybe pick up an Enigma as the 5th one. Have like a Shadow Demon Kunkka mid lane, Razor safe lane, Enigma in the jungle of course, and Centaur in the off lane. It still might be a little bit too greedy, but I just wouldn't put it past them as Meteor Makers. They solidify their teamfight even more, so they will have an Ice Blast to follow up whatever they had previously already. But it's another squishy support to be honest, and might just be easy fodder to what he has to offer.
I'm not really sure if I like this Ancient Apparition pickup. I mean, obviously, with Razor on the field, you know that you're going to be facing up against a quick mech. If you could deny that, then, well, you're golden. But he's going to be, as you said, very vulnerable to any roam from the HEHE side. And he doesn't really have great setup in the Chronosphere. Like, that's usually what you want to have happen. The anti-regeneration isn't really going to be a huge factor in this particular game. I mean, the roam from Kunkka doesn't get canceled in any way by that Ice Blast. And really, aside from a possible mech, the HEHE side's not going to be really reliant on any regeneration. Like, there's no Alchemist quite yet, or an Invoker with Quas or Scorched Earth or anything like that. So, I mean, it's a solid hero, but he doesn't really have a great synergy with Skywrath Mage. He doesn't really have a great advantage versus the enemy team. I'm not sure if I like this from them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to read. The potential is definitely there once you get your ultimate up and whatnot. I do feel like Skywrath Mage and Ancient Apparition, they just aren't the best roaming duo, for example, already. So it might be hard for them to just set up kills and especially be as effective as, for example, a Shadow Demon and Kunkka, or Shadow Demon plus anybody could be as far as roaming is concerned. So, Meteor Makers, both of their support, they are extremely level dependent. They need those level 6s up as soon as possible. And if they fail to do so, just how can they take fights properly? But Nyx Assassin is the pick for HEHE now, the last one for them. So I guess Shadow Demon, Nyx Assassin supports, and Kunkka will be in a farming role after all.
Or they could just put Nyx Assassin in the off lane. Either way, they'll get at the very least a little bit of flexibility in their lanes. Plus, they'll have another super aggressive hero. Nyx Assassin, once he hits the level 6, can mercilessly feed on the likes of Ancient Apparition, Skywrath Mage, even Death Prophet, fairly vulnerable at that stage, assuming Nyx Assassin gets a decent leveling, gets a decent early start. So Nyx Assassin, I actually really like this pick from them. It's, again, another stun, which is really nice. And, ooh, MYM going to go with a Troll for their last pickup. Maybe a safe lane farming Troll Warlord?
I would think so, and judging by who picks up what heroes, it's probably going to be as well. I mean, Era, he played mid lane 2 games in a row. First game was on the Death Prophet as well, went horrible. I think he ended like 1-11-10 or 1-10-9 or something like that in the KDA department. So we'll see if this time goes any better at all. And actually, Kunkka was picked up by Blue Banana, who has played so far at least the safe lane farmers in the 2 first games. And Hava picking up a Nyx Assassin, so we might have been just completely wrong on the lanes, although I think they might be yanking our chain a little bit with just swapping it up once they get in game.
You could always swap the heroes, you could always swap the roles. I mean, Blue Banana technically is a stand-in, so I guess he can play a couple of different heroes, but this will be interesting to see, because Centaur support is definitely not what I would have expected. I would have expected Kunkka support or Nyx Assassin support before that Centaur, but I'm just going to go over the MYM side so that he can finish swapping around their heroes, because we are in the final game to decide who is going to be taking this finals. It's currently standing 1-1, so this is the decider. Baby Knight is heading down bottom lane as the Troll Warlord, going to be supported by Bland's Ancient Apparition and Rise's Skywrath Mage Era. Well, he's once again going to be playing the Death Prophet. Let's hope for his sake that is a little bit of an easier time in this particular game. Top lane is going to be handled by Ace's Tidehunter with wards and actually 500 gold, not opting for boots or anything like that. So maybe he's going to wait to see who he's up against before he buys an item.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, he's going to decide whether to pick up a Stout Shield or not, I think. But for HEHE, Nihis will be playing the Kunkka, so they swapped that around a little bit at least, as Chipsign on the Shadow Demon, leaving Fire to play the Center Warrunner, who has played the support Earthshaker for the previous games at least. Hava on the Nyx Assassin, so most likely a mid one after all, and Blue Banana is on the Razor. I have no idea if they actually swapped the roles as well or what's actually happening, but we will see as the game unpauses at some point in the future. But they're definitely just making us, as well as I think Meteor makers, guess a little bit.
And sometimes that's all you need to do in order to get a slight edge in the early game. Now, if they do end up finally running a support roaming Centaur with a roaming Shadow Demon, that's actually a pretty good combination because you could focus your skills as a Shadow Demon into Soul Catcher, and then the Hoof Stomp will do a lot of damage, the Double Edge will do a lot of damage. Centaur actually has some pretty decent right-click damage as well, especially with the Boots of Speed. So if they get set up, if they catch anyone out of position, if they manage to land that curse on them, then they're probably just going to be annihilated by the Centaur. Plus, whatever lane you're going to be roaming into, whether it be the Nyx Assassin lane or the Kunkka lane, that additional Torrent or Impale or anything the Razor has is going to all but assure that there are going to be kills happening. So MYM, they have to watch themselves because they are going to be the victims of some pretty aggressive roam.
Yeah, and man, Hawa, once again, he went for his T. That used to be the case almost every single time we casted them in Season 1 and 2, both. It's like Hawa was, guys, wait, we can't start the game yet, I have to get my T. So, he has it now, he's ready to rumble. And actually, one thing, we didn't discuss the troll too much, but usually when you see a troll, you want at least some other hero to hugely benefit from the attack speed coming out from the trance. But at the moment, it's like, I guess you can still use the Battle Trance on any hero in combination with the Chilling Touch, so it wouldn't be that bad. But it's not like they have a Faceless Void with just a built-in time lock, just getting those extra bashes or anything crazy like that. Like, no other right-click carry at all, pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward last pick because of the reasons that you just stated. I think the best usage I've seen of Troll Warlord was, back when he was played in the mid lane. He was really a nice hero to put there. It was very short-lived, but the best combo was Troll Warlord with the Lifestealer on the team. Lifestealer just went to town with Rage, plus Battle Trance, took down heroes in the blink of an eye. This game, it's not really going to happen. Tidehunter and Death Prophet, they're both the cores for MYM, but they're really not reliant on their right clicks at all. Death Prophet, physical damage from Exorcism, but not actually throwing the attacks herself. So, Troll Warlord's a capable hero, even if you do not have that synergy, especially if you do have Chilling Touch. But yeah, I don't know, especially in this tri lane, Troll Warlord is not going to have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they do have a decent amount of damage between their tri lane, I guess, but if they're the ones getting jumped, like Disruption into Torrent, into Plasma Field, what are the supports actually gonna do? I mean, Ancient Apparition and a Skyroth Mage, they don't have any AoE stuns, well, not any stuns at all, to be honest, to try to just turn around the fight. I mean, maybe he want to hit level 2 before actually going in as deep, but man, it's gonna be hard.
Alright, so the final verdict is, it is going to be a support Kunkka, however, it's just not going to be played by Fire. So Fire is going to handle the solo lane as a Centaur. I think Centaur is a pretty easy hero. Even if Fire's not too comfortable with that, it should be relatively okay. But yeah, the Kunkka and the Shadow Demon is going to be the roam combination, and they should be able to shut down this Troll Warlord. However, I think they suspect that they had vision on themselves, and that certainly was not the case. So Baby Knight's going to get a little bit of an easier time as the creep wave does push in. However, all eyes should be on this bottom lane, as that should be where the first blood is going to happen. I mean, top lane, the Centaur Warrunner getting roughed up quite a bit as he tries to duel up against Ace, but the Centaur should be fine in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be hard against a Tidehunter somewhat, but like you said, he should be fine, especially once he gets himself the Tranquil Boots at some point. But Ace, he's playing really aggressive so far, so might pay off in the end. I mean, he is a little bit ahead in XP as well, but that's probably not gonna be so for too long. And oh man, the old Chat Panther, man. Mercy, give me mercy.
Yeah, in this lane, Centaur is not expected to die, but he's also not expected to get that much. If he walks up and gets Anchor Smashed, there's really nothing you can do in order to trade hits from there on out. Maybe once he gets level 5, Double Edge is a little bit more, but for right now, Ira, well, he got ganked time and time again in game number 1. This is going to be round 2, it seems like. The Disruption, the Torrent, let's see if Impale, the Puppy Paws. Frankers.
Oh, oh man. How I also like, holy shit, I'm angry now. But to be honest, Nyx Assassin actually doesn't have enough mana to follow up with an Impale. He's 14 mana short of this.
Okay, I guess press 1 if you think the Death Prophet's gonna die, press 2 if you think the Death Prophet's gonna live. I think without the Impale, they might not have enough damage. If they have the Impale, for sure she would be dead. But it seems like they don't, and then at that point they're just working on right clicks. Level 1 Torrent does 120 damage, and I think it was perfectly lined up. So it's 120 damage, let's say 100 damage, so she's at 380. I don't think they could kill her off.
Yeah, I'm actually afraid as well that she might survive. She got so far under her own tower as well, already on the high ground. Radiant creep wave coming in, so if they dive this, they're gonna have to tank the tower as well as the creep wave at the same time. And just Nyx Assassin, oh man, if he only had the mana for it, but the torrent, it's gonna land Era. He's taking a lot of damage, actually blocked in a little bit as well. The slow is still there, and they will get the kill in the end. He's the one to pick it up. The tower, he's not gonna bring him down. Needed one more right click, or actually will it? Yes, oh my god, are you kidding? Stout shield, man, not enough. I thought that last tower it actually isn't gonna be enough, but one base armor, I guess, isn't. It's just too strong.
Yeah, Kunkka with low base armor. Plus, I mean, it wasn't the worst because the Radiant got the kill, so Ira didn't benefit hugely from that. But a kill is a kill nonetheless, and the first blood did end up going the way of that Kunkka. So he's going to find enough gold for his boots, and well, he just proved how effective a roaming combination could be of Shadow Demon and Kunkka. And Kunkka, unfortunately, still level 1. He would really like to have some points going towards X marks, but for right now, Shadow Demon has hit the level 2 mark, and he and Kunkka can go and rinse and repeat constantly on Era, especially if the Nyx Assassin has mana burn, or not mana burn, impale mana by the time they rotate into that lane. Should be easy kill after kill, but for right now it looks like they're going to stick on the bottom lane just a little bit longer because there are many juicy targets here.
Yeah, and actually the biggest thing about this was as well, oh, Nevermind Fire getting chased down by Ace. He has the Gush as well, he's gonna go for it. One more Anchor Smash, nope. Nice hoofdom from Fire, and Ace really doesn't want to go under the tower, but what I was trying to get at is the fact that the Razor, he was able to just solo up against a tri-lane while the supports rotated away. They were gone for at least a minute, solid minute and a half, maybe even a little bit extra. So I thought like Blue Banana has to play it extra safe, but nope. And because of this now, Razor is level 4, whereas not a single hero on Maker's tri-lane is level 3 yet. But Nihis might be in trouble, slowed down from the whirling access. But now the Plasma Field comes out, Nihis can actually make it out, a defensive disruption. I don't know if that was the best choice, but now Blue Banana, he gets the slow in the end. Blan gets the counter kill, but Blue Banana might get the chase and range separation regardless. He has boost of speed, and Blan, the best he can do is deny himself the Plasma Field. Nope. So in the end, a 1-for-1. Not a bad exchange for either side.
It's a support for a support. Ancient Apparition getting that kill. Not the best, as Razor was the one to get the kill on the side of HEHE. So, you know, ultimately the trade is relatively even, but Razor getting slightly more, seeing as though he is in a core position for the HEHE side. But, you know, ultimately it doesn't really matter that much. Meantime, top lane, Fire is still getting his ass kicked by this Tidehunter, who's doubling up his CS, and well, he's just as many denies as Centaur has kills. Centaur might even want to look towards just purely jungling at this point, because really he's not getting much out of this lane, and once the Tidehunter gets his level 6, he could very easily go for solo kills, even though the Centaur does have his Tranquils. Maybe not anymore, since that 815 HP is hard to burn through as a Tidehunter, but he could still be super aggressive in this lane, as he's just sitting in the creep wave, just asking the Centaur Warrunner to step up so that he could land an Anchor Smash.
Yeah, it's just so hard, especially once you already get an advantage. It's so hard to just get it back.
Top lane kill. Ravage, Gush, no Anchor Smash mana, however, as Fire does get the stomp off. Ace might want to chase this one out, but he's just 10 mana short of an Anchor Smash. Oh, the mana pool is pretty limited for the Tidehunter. In the meantime, it's like bottom lane, Skywrath is going to be the one to go down.
Yeah, if you get caught by the disruption and the torrent is lined up perfectly, there's just no escaping, and Fire a little bit lucky making the escape there, but of course, nice hoof stomp and just running away from it. Tidehunter, unless he gets extremely lucky and the hoof stomp just triggers the Kraken Shell automatically somehow, then it should be enough to just run away, especially if you have the Tranquil Boots, extra movement speed. Oh, another hoof stomp, you might even go for the kill. Double Edge might be enough to bring down Ace, and indeed it will. What a turnaround that was right now.
He was asking for mercy before, and he showed Tidehunter no mercy. That's kind of a dick move, but Shadow Demon and Kunkka, they're going to be roaming back towards Ira, who is actually heading up north. I think, yeah, he definitely spotted... No, they were smoked, so... Were they smoked? I don't know if they were smoked. He's making a break for it, and he's pretty damn quick with those boots, and, well, even though Vendetta is a little bit faster...
But Blue Banana in trouble bottom lane, he activated his Eye of the Storm, but it's not going to be enough. The right clicks with the Chilling Touch to land a kill. Now, this time around... Makers, they had no hesitation at all. They saw the supports being mid lane and immediately Razor, I mean, I guess he should have just backed off completely. It was rather obvious that you're gonna get initiated on once the enemy knows that the supports aren't around.
Yeah, that was just a pretty large bluff from the Razor. I mean, he was comfortable in doing that when everyone from the MYM tri-lane was level 1 and level 2. Now that they have a couple more levels, now that Baby Knight has his phase boots, you can no longer be that comfortable in staying that far up in the lane without your supports being around. Shadow Demon, though, has secured an invisibility rune. Rise did spot that one, but here's the Stampede, and they're going to go for it. Looks like the Skywrath Mage, although it looks like not. Intimidation Stampede.
Yeah, that's what it had to be, didn't it? I mean, maybe misclick, I have no clue, because that accomplished absolutely nothing except what you said, intimidation. But look at Rise, I mean, at least he has enough gold for boots of speed now, but looking at an empty inventory is always such a sad sight.
Poor guy. He really needs government support or something, because he's not getting anything. He's 1 death, 2 assists, but here we go. Invisibility rune still up for the Shadow Demon. They're going to go in for round 2 on the mid lane Death Prophet, but they are spotted once again, so they should not be able to get this kill if Ira plays safely. And, well, they will deward this, so next time they could do it, but for right now, they will be forced to back off, as Fire, in the meantime, might be in a little bit of trouble because double teleportations up to the top lane. Bland and Rise both looking for an opening. Is Ravage up? It is. If they get a Ravage onto Fire, they might be able to burst him down, but it's a level 7 Centaur. He's got a lot of strength, and I don't know if MYM have enough damage here.
To be honest, one thing we didn't talk about is they have double. Oh, they get the concussion shot. There's the Ravage as well. Will they have enough? Ice Vortex is down, Ancient Seal as well, Cold Feet. And he's just slowed down to oblivion, and he does fall down. And what I wanted to say is that they actually have 2 abilities that boost magic damage taken, both the Ancient Seal and the Ice Vortex.
Yeah, it's a lot of amplification, and Centaur, though he does have quite a bit of mana, not having any cloak or anything like that means that he's going to drop pretty quickly. They do get the torrent on the Troll Warlord on the bottom lane, but he has phase boost, and there's really no follow-up. Chip is here for the Curse plus Disruption, 1 stack of Poison, but there's no follow-up, so I don't really know what the plan was there. Oh, here we go, follow-up, Intimidation Stampede, round 2, does pretty much nothing but the Plasma Field, 12 HP, Shadow Demon, 1 Poison Tick, does secure the kill, but here comes Ira with a 2-man swarm. They're going to get the kill on Shadow Demon, they're going to get the kill on Blue Banana. The Torrent is actually not there, as the Ancient Apparition Bland does come in from the side, plus the concussive shot. That's going to be free 3 kills for HEHE. They lose the Troll Warlord, but you know what, in exchange for 3 heroes, that is totally worth it.
That was such a huge and awful overextension, if you ask me. Like, literally, they should not have done that. There's no way around it. Losing 3 heroes for 1 troll, just unacceptable. Although troll is still level 5, but just the supports getting level closer to level 6. It can be so devastating for them. Once the Ice Blast and the Mystic Flare come out, you want to delay that however much you can. And of course, now the Death Prophet, he's having a pretty decent enough game, considering he was the one going down for first blood, I think it was. So he's still number 1 in net worth, doing really well, and just bouncing back from the horrible performance on Death Prophet in game 1.
Ninja time for the Nyx Assassin. He does have maxed out Impale, and if he finds himself a nice tasty Skywrath Mage, well, that's going to be a free kill for the Nyx Assassin, but it looks like Skywrath does smell something is up, and unfortunately, Nyx Assassin, I don't believe, has gotten a single Vendetta gank off at all. I mean, he's still 0-0-1. That 1 assist was in the beginning when he got the participation with the Death Prophet. Since that happened, he hasn't been doing much of anything for his team.
Yeah, I mean, having a Nyx Assassin, overall, you want to get kills. Once you get at level 6, and especially if you run it in mid lane, you get at level 6 faster, but I guess the lanes haven't really been at the positions, or there hasn't been an opportune moment, I guess, for him to go. But now they are making the rotation bottom lane to get the tower, which might be there, but Baby 90 comes in. Oh, this poor Troll Warlord might be in a bad position. He gets the deny on the tower, but now disrupted up, Torrent to follow, should be an easy kill.
I mean, he spends 135 gold to get the deny. It's probably not worth it, although at least he gets something before he does go down. Ira, in the meantime, has level 3 Witchcraft, and he's going to pop the Exorcism and try to force someone back to this tower. The rest of the MYM squad, well, they're right to the north of him, so whoever teleports in, they're instantly going to be collapsed upon. Rage is going to be the first one, and Blue Banana will throw out the Plasma Field. There's a Stampede as the Nyx Assassin does get in there for an Impale, but it's not going to be thrown. There's the Ravage first. Can they bring down the Nyx Assassin before they kill off Ira? Yes, Ira will survive for now. One more right click won't do it, as here comes Fire from the side. Will kill off the Ancient Apparition in the end. Someone gets put into a bubble. I think that was the Centaur. Ace is going to hit him with the Anchor Smash. It was the Shadow Demon, in fact. Now Nias on the side, going to get a short X mark onto Ace. But it looks like that's just about going to be it. Death Prophet does manage to live, getting a little bit of regeneration from the Exorcism, but a jump forward from Ace. He wants more. He's going to look for a Gush. He will land it onto Fire. Baby Knight's going to come in here with the Battle Trance. Will annihilate that Centaur, taking a couple tower shots, though he should be fine unless this teleportation comes in. Chip can throw out one stack of Shadow Poison. I think the Control Warlord will be fine to just walk his way out of there. This mid lane fight seems to be winding down, it looks like, so that's going to be about it.
Yeah, I think it was a 3-for-1 in the end, if I'm not mistaken. So, I guess it could have gone a little bit worse for HEHE, considering that Micho Makers were smoked up like that and had a Blink Ravage at their disposal. Of course, Era just barely making it out of there. The tier 1 does survive the entire fight, the Exorcism, but Exorcism was only level 1 after all. Not the scariest of things, but Death Prophet, he has himself a Vitality booster, and what do you think he's going to turn it into now?
Most of the time that Vit Booster ends up being a Bloodstone, but also most of the time you see first the Yule Scepter being picked up for the Death Prophet, so it is most likely going to be a casual Vit Booster. I feel like that's an okay item to hold on to while you work on your Yules, and well, she does have a courier flying out to the secret shop, so I mean, it is probably going to be a Yule Scepter, I want to say, but it could just be something like a...
Ice Blast top lane, Ace, he blinks in, gets the Gush, which is level 3 as well. One more Anchor Smash will do the job. Blue Banana is gonna shatter.
In the meantime, mid lane, they get initiation with that very easy disruption torrent combo with Nick Assassin securing the kill for the team. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Two relatively similar heroes in the value as they both do go down.
Yeah, but it's just thinking of mid laner still. I mean, yes, Era just died on the Death Prophet, yet still #1 in net worth. And Hava, he's not as far behind. I mean, 600 net worth difference. But when it comes late game, Nyx Assassin falls off heavily, whereas Death Prophet just shines through.
Rise is once again going to get put into the bubble, and the Curse. Torrent is going to be perfectly on the mark with an Impale. That Skyrath just got obliterated. Now Stampede. Intimidation? No, it's going to be top lane where Fire is going to get hit with the Ravage. That will shatter him. Ace now going to be facing down 2 teleportations. Oh, it's only going to be Kunkka, actually. And Kunkka versus Tidehunter, he's going to miss the Torrent. Tidehunter's going to jump out and teleport back to his base. It's, again, a 1-for-1 trade, but this time HEHE losing a little bit more of an important hero.
Yeah, it's definitely not going for them as expected, especially considering they got the first blood. And they had the better tri-lane for sure, but at the moment, especially with this tower now going down, I mean, the Razor isn't that far ahead of the Troll Warlord at all in net worth, only 150 difference. I mean, you would have thought with such tri-lanes facing each other that Baby Knight isn't gonna get much of anything. But just holding in his own, lasted-wise still 20 behind the Razor, but net worth just begs to differ in kills and everything. I mean, Razor has tied thrice and only 1 kill as well as 2 assists. But now Hava, he has himself a Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin. So at least getting some extra initiation power as Ace once again man fights Fire, or rather, Fire just runs away like a little girl, so...
God damn it, Fires. Gotta man up and fight that Tidehunter. Conquer your fears. Top lane, the Battle Trance will be used as Baby Knight is just gonna go to town on that. Let's see if Chip can get the tower deny. Not gonna happen. It's a free tower for Death Prophet and a minute off of Exorcism, so that's gonna be the secondary tier 1 tower secured for the MYM side, and this Tidehunter actually being a pretty large nuisance for the HEHE side. He's very difficult to bring down with a very early Blink Dagger. Now it looks like he's going to be going for a mech for his team, it looks like, possibly Pipe. Most likely it's going to be the mech. He's going to be a really hard to kill target for HEHE, but they have to kill him off or else he's going to go to town on them.
Yeah, and actually it's going to be a mech, and he has it as well if he wants to. The Buckler was ordered already in the courier for him, so just needs to buy the mech recipe, and it's going to be huge just having the burst heal, especially against what he has. Although, if they get a perfect like disruption into Torrent, into Ghost Ship, crazy combination, they can burst down anybody, but actually it was a Road of Athos for Era's Death Prophet.
Huh. That's an interesting pickup to say the least. They are going to, on the bottom lane, surround Ace, but they don't know about this. Waz going to be looking for a softer target. He's going to decide on Rise. That's the correct target, I feel. But can he secure the... Oh, yes, he can. Very easily, the Skyrath Mage does go down. In the meantime, Nice is going to run away from Ace. He's going to try to Torrent, but it's not going to happen. Ice Blast now going to land squarely onto this Nyx Assassin, who is completely surrounded, but Stampede will try to buy him a little bit more space. Has an Impale / Ravage, as does hit too. But I think Nyx Assassin is... Oh, he actually does have a Blink Dagger, so he's going to jump out of there, and then the boat will slow down Ace. Actually, no, Ace is going to jump right over everything. He wants more. He has a Ravage, and I think he's going to pop it right now. He will. will secure the kill on, at the very least, Nick Sass. But here comes Fire with a two-man stun, with a two-man double edge. This can be turned around very easily if Fire stays strong in this fight. Ace still very hard to bring down as here comes the Razor. Ace now going to get X marks back, and Blue Banana going to start working on this Tidehunter. He's going to try to hide deep within the trees, but there's no escape once you go in that far. That's going to be the end of that fight. Fire coming in huge with his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, it's... that double hoof stomp just set everything up for them. Ice Blast is flying, it's not going to be enough, I think. At least cancels the urn on Fire, so not going to heal back up. But in the end, they 2-for-1 exchange. And a lot of credit to Hava there. Just being able to survive as long as he did. Bait out Meteor Makers to overextend a little bit. But one thing that I can't say I'm too fond of what he's doing at the moment is that, for example, the Razor not going for a mech. I mean, maybe, just maybe, Nihis is building one. He has himself a chainmail. Although I would think like maybe even Medallion of Courage on him. I'm not too sure. And even if he goes for mech, it's going to be so delayed and strain his mana pool so extremely much. So not going for a mech might just come to bite them in the ass in the end.
Mech does get a little bit worse when you're going up against an Ancient Apparition, but it's still a good enough item on a Razor to, I think, warrant going for that item. BKB will certainly help, but I think with the amount of farm that he has, he could have had most of the mech, or if not the entire mech by now. So, I don't know, it's hard to evaluate which one is going to be better. If he gets his BKB shortly, then the difference shouldn't be too large. As long as the Razor doesn't get focused down, there is going to be some pretty heavy physical damage going his way in the way of Troll Warlord. But again, that's about it. Exorcism, I guess, is also going to be some pretty heavy physical, so I'm not sure if this BKB is exactly the right item, as Tidehunter now wrapping around. Does not have a Ravage, but he's going to run into Fire nonetheless, open up with a Gush, has an Anchor Smash, going to try to bait out the Stomp. Here goes the Concussive Shot, will be dodged by the Centaur. In the meantime, on the other end of the fight, Chip's going to get slowed down by the Death Prophet. One more bird, and Chip is going to be brought down by the Skywrath Mage. They get the kill on the Shadow Demon, though it's only a Shadow Demon. They won't have Ravage for another 20 seconds, but by the time that comes up, if they go for a tier 2 tower push, they will be ready to fight.
Yeah, and they have level 2 Exorcism on Meteor Makers. And oh, Hava, can he be sneaky? Oh, the sentry goes down just in time, but he has a haste rune, so he's gonna be safe. The ghost ship comes out with the torrent landing on Ace. It lands perfect as well, and 3 heroes are already down somehow. Fire, he came in from the side as well, and now Ace, he's gonna be the last one to fall for them. And Era, the only one to make it out because he wasn't even there. But what a flawless execution from HEHE.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Nyx Assassin jumping in. I mean, he got a really good impale, but right after, Fire jumped in, got a 3-man hoof stomp, and with that much lockdown, it's really hard to come back from that fight, as Ira now going to be chased down by the snakes, will juke out the impale, so he's going to be just fine. But HEHE getting so much value off of this Centaur, doing so much damage during that fight, and then it was a 2-man impale, 3-man stomp, and then everyone just on the tip of the plasma field, and that once that happened, that fight was pretty much over.
Yeah, I think the ghost ship landed on 2 as well. It definitely landed on Ace. I was more focused on like what happens to the Tidehunter, but he didn't get anything off at all. He got torrented, then ghost ship just was his end already. No time to even proc the Kraken Shell or anything. And now they're taking Roche ever so slowly, but if they get it, that Aegis is just going to be so good for them. And who do you think they're actually going to give it to? I mean, Razor is probably the most likely candidate, but since he has a BKB anyway, do you think they should give it to somebody else?
I think it would still probably be the best on Razor, perhaps on the Centaur, but I don't really think that's going to be what they want to do. Ancient Apparition, I'm surprised, has not thrown an Ice Blast into this area. If he did, then they would have at the very least spotted out, but now there's 2 kills in this Roshan pit. As long as you just throw that ultimate, Ancient Apparition, okay, that's fine. It's going to be Aegis on the Centaur.
Yeah, I guess he's the one just getting into the thick of things immediately. And probably gonna go down. I mean, he hurts himself with the double edge even. Especially if he gets hit by the Ice Blast before. But then again, with the Aegis now, he can feel safe to actually jump into 5 heroes. Hoof Stomp, double edge, and maybe even just completely bait out the Frost Blast onto himself. But mid tier 1, or not mid tier 1, bottom tier 1, what am I saying, man? But Era, he gets hoof stomped up. Will there be any follow up at all? He's dropping low, but the Ice Blast is flying. It does hit on Chip's hand, but he's the only target getting caught as Fire. He's still tanking up in the front line. Stampede gets used as well. Can't they catch anybody at all? The ghost ship is coming Ace. He's gonna get caught as Blue Banana with his BKB. Doesn't really want to chase solo into the Exorcism. But Ace gonna get X marks back, and there is the Mystic Flare not doing anything at all as Ace. Is he gonna back himself into a corner? Yes, he is. Rise somehow gets hit by a torrent, completely blind one, and he's going for the TP out. Nothing to stop it. He's just way too damn tanky, but Era did fall in the end as Hava came in to just make sure of that.
That was a really, really awkward initiation from HeHe. I mean, jumping forward with fire is all well and good, but only going for the Death Prophet and then losing the Aegis and Stampede before you actually even start the fight. Everyone from MYM, they do manage to escape, and also during the midst of that fight, Death Prophet actually got fully healed due to the Exorcism returning, so she got a lot of health from that. But it looks like for right now, we're going to be seeing even more aggression as Assassin with the Blink Dagger does spot out the Ancient Apparition. Can he land the Impale? He's going to go for Baby Knight instead. The Troll Warlord completely out of mana. There's the Torrent to follow up, and that's going to be a free kill for HeHe, and they're going to look for more. However, here comes Ace. Going to get a gush onto this Assassin. Silenced up. He's going to get blown up in an instant. I don't believe there's anything else. However, Chip is in the back end. Ace still very healthy. Centaur is going to jump forward for Bland. Instantly, the Stomp and the Double Edge. Easy kill there. Mystic Flare will do absolutely nothing once again, but HeHe, they're going to slowly start to run out of gas. However, here comes the boat. Will whiff completely. Fire will pop up the Stampede, try to get the rest of his team out of here, but Naya's slowed down once again by the Rod of Atos. Some serious value from that item so far. He does have the Ghost Ship Rum on himself, so he's taking a little bit of reduced damage, but it's only going to last so long. Fire's going to jump in for another 3-man Hoof Stomp, but he cannot fight this one, not any longer. If they had the Razor during that entire fight, then maybe they could have made something happen, but Fire now slowed down once again. He's silenced, but I think he just should be fine. This guy's pretty tanky. Ace can jump forward for a Gush. Fire, another Arcane Bolt, Force Staff, won't bring up to the high ground. He's going to get brought down. Chip, in the meantime, trying to take down Rise, but now he's on the run. This is just a feeding frenzy for MYM. They're taking one after another after another. It's Era taking home a triple kill. That's going to be his completed Yule Scepter at the very least.
I have nothing else to say, but holy crap, HeHe, yes, all in well, they killed off the troll to begin with, but first of all, oh, Hava, he wants to get some more aces out of mana, but he still has plenty of health left, but they got the Troll Warlord, then the Shadow Demon was trying to escape with a Force Staff into the river, and the Kanka was like, yeah, my level 2 Tidebringer with no damage items does enough, so he went back in a little bit to just get one right click off and started to run away, but suddenly Rod of Atos slowed down. And the center was hanging around for such a long time, watching the Kanka try to escape. Finally, he went in, got the Hoof Stomp on 3 heroes, although the Kanka was dead already. And he himself was unable to run away from that. And now, Hava, Mystic Flare, he can't really run away to the right side. And Ice Blast gets the kill, but another 3-man Hoof Stomp with a double H to follow. But where is the follow-up? He gets 1 kill still. 1 versus 3, but... oh man, he...
Fire has really been impressing me throughout this entire series, but unfortunately it's just not enough for his team. I mean, MYM, they got some really serious value out of that Rod of Atos. Now that the Death Prophet has completed off that Yules, but if she had the Yules instead of the Atos in that previous engagement, they definitely wouldn't have gotten as much as they did. I mean, maybe Rod of Atos, new first item for Death Prophet. It's not the most common of item, but such a long-range initiation, or such a long-range slow, is something you can't really afford to ignore, especially when the fight lasts for that long. The very low 10-second cooldown means that it was used, I believe, 3 or 4 times during that entire exchange.
Yeah, it's just crazy how long it lasts, as well as how low the cooldown of it is. It's really actually a value item because it gives you intelligence, which is always nice, especially if you're an intelligence hero, just want to spam out your spells constantly. As well as just a pretty decent amount of tank, to be honest. And just look at how speedy Death Prophet now is as well. I mean, the Yule Scepter just gives you so much extra. But Hava, he's on the hunt. He has a mech actually on himself now on the Nyx Assassin. In 25 minutes in, it's still not the latest one by any means. He runs into a sentry but gets out of range. But the later you get the mech, the less effectiveness it really has.
Yeah, the mech is up in the end. I mean, we were asking if it was going to be the Kunkka or whatever. It looks like the chainmail was actually going to be built into a blade mail, so that is now up and available. The Nyx Assassin was still doing some pretty heavy damage with that mana burn onto the Death Prophet and the Skywrath Mage, both very heavy in the intelligence. But if that's all they have, then he can't really afford to fight. Really, they need the Centaur to get some really good stuns, and he has been getting them so far. If he continues to do so, then he can ride that Centaur all the way to victory. But Centaur for right now is on the bottom lane. He is not going to be a part of this defense, but to be fair, MYM, they're going to be forced back regardless. I mean, their tier 2 tower on the bottom lane is down. Troll Warlord is going to defend that one, and he has not much damage at all. He only has Phase Boots as his damage item. Helm of the Dominator plus what looks like a BKB will be the item choice for Baby Knight.
Yeah, actually I wanted to ask you about that as well, that his skill build is rather maxing out Fervor than the Berserker's Rage. Usually I think Berserker's Rage is maxed out rather than Fervor, so what do you actually make of that? And oh, mid lane, will we see Fight the Slow comes out? Nope, the TP gets cancelled smartly. Fire otherwise would have waited with a nice Hoof Stomp there. But back to the Troll Warlord, man, what do you think of the skill build?
Berserker Rage doesn't scale that well. I mean, there are definitely more impressive scaling skills. That being said, Fervor doesn't really do anything if you don't have any damage. So I think this build is okay since he's mostly been focusing on taking down towers, so scaling Berserker's Rage doesn't really help you when you're trying to do that. Fervor definitely does give you a little bit more power as far as the push is concerned. But now that they're actually starting to fight a little bit more with the enemy team, he's going to be wishing he had more Rage and less Fervor because he's not going to be able to attack people and really focus them down until he gets his BKB, and that's still quite a ways away as Baby Knight now going to get Vendetta, impaled, double damage room from the Nyx Assassin will be popped, Torrent to follow, Troll Warlord will be brought down, the boat crashing right into his face. That's a free kill for HEHE, and Troll Warlord is a little bit further away from his BKB.
That was an excellent setup, to be honest. I was a little bit skeptical about whether they will be able to get a kill like that, but of course the Torrent as well as the Ghost Ship, they have crazy range and beautiful setup. Just really worthy of the kill, to be honest. And unfortunately a little bit that Roshan's respawn is still a minimum of 1 minute away, probably a little bit more. We'll find out after it actually expires, the first 8 minutes. But they are buying some breathing room, to be honest. But will the Razor just be enough to kind of solo carry them in the late game? Because Kanka, he's a support one, he's not going to carry anything probably, at least unless he just starts racking up crazy multi-kills and just monster kills, what have you. So Razor, will he be enough?
Well, it stands right now, he does have the item advantage, and Troll Warlord really doesn't have that much gold, so he's really lacking some serious damage that MYM, for right now, are going to be okay with lacking since they do have a really powerful exorcism still. That's only going to get a little bit more powerful as the level 3 has yet to be picked up, but once that starts to taper off just a little bit, they're going to need someone to scale, and Troll Warlord by that point ideally should have it, but in the meantime Chip is going to be spotted out. He's going to get ult beated down, and well, he's going to hide in the corner. There's no real escape there, but here comes the Nyx Assassin. Actually, we'll get an impale onto Era, we'll instantly bring him down. That mana burn doing so much damage. How much damage does that actually do? 5 times intelligence. That's so 500 damage nuke. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess intelligence heroes, it really is, and in that regard, Rod of Aethos is definitely not a friendly item for the Death Prophet. Usually, you actually don't go for too many intelligence items on Death Prophets, you just go for like Eul Scepter into Heart of Trask or what have you. But man, that was such an epic bait from the Shadow Demon. I don't think the Shadow Demon himself believed that he will survive that, but the turnaround was real, and HEHE just making good use of a Nyx Assassin, at least for the time being. Although I still think that HEHE, they should be getting more kills at this point in time to just make it worthwhile.
When you get caught out like that as a Shadow Demon, you don't really expect to survive. Like, you have Force Staff and Disruption, but those are just tools to buy you time before your inevitable doom. Nyx Assassin, though, proving that he can still solo kill these heroes, especially the Skywrath Mage, and with the haste rune, this Nyx Assassin is going to be making a beeline for that. Sees the Ancient Apparition. So many tasty targets. Who's it going to be, Nyx? Rise, whack, impale, mana burn, whack, whack, easy kill, and a blink out.
Man, Nyx Assassin, it's been a long time since I've seen one, to be honest, and it's so annoying to play against that tier, and he's going for a Dagon now as well. BKB is finished on the Troll Warlord, but he's the only one anywhere close to a BKB, of course, and actually Tidehunter, Ace, he has himself a gem now, so HEHE, if he's not aware of the fact, he might be in for a really bad surprise.
Now that they have the BKB on the Troll Warlord, I think it's time for MYM to start grouping up and using this exorcism to take down some tier 2 towers. For now, there's going to be a defense attempt on the top, but Ice Blast and well, it'll be buffed out to the BKB. The tower will be brought down. Razor will secure that one. But MYM, they should be looking to fight. However, there's the jump in. They're going to try to go for the death drop, but she does throw herself in the air. There's Ravage onto absolutely everyone. The boat's going to come in, though, and really jam up the fight for the MYM side. Ace already used both of his payload. Baby Knight's still sitting in the middle of everything, but he's not doing any damage right now. Only the BKB. That won't be doing much. Now another impale as Squad does hit them onto. Baby Knight's going to get put into a bubble fire with a... Well, he's silenced up, and he's going to be slowly brought down. Exorcism will grind him down eventually. Tidehunter will secure the kill on the Shadow Demon. We'll get X marked back. Blue Banana will try to TP out, and while off to the side, will also survive. In the end, it's just a 2-for-0 trade. MYM getting a pretty good one, and they might even catch this Nyx if the Nyx isn't fast enough. He's getting an impale mana burn, but there's the Anchor Smash, plus the Gush. He's slowed to a crawl, silenced up. He's not going to escape here. I don't really know what the plan was for the Nyx, but he's going to get punished for staying around for just a little bit too long.
Oh wow, that was a horrible fight, and to be honest, once I heard the Stampede and saw them just going slightly towards the Radiant side, I was like, oh, they're forcing the issue so damn much. I mean, BKB, it was already down to half the duration, if not less. The pipe was also about to run out just as they went in, and running into a 5-man Ravage like that, I don't think it could have gone too much worse. And the Shadow Demon disrupting the Troll Warlord, disrupting Baby Knight there at the end of the fight almost. It kind of saved the Baby Knight, but oh, Ghost Ship coming in. It's just buying some time as Knees doesn't really want to go for more. X marks the spot. Blue Banana has arrived as well. Mech comes out. Ice Blast connects on Blue Banana. Stampede is there, but I don't think they can catch up to anybody.
Era is pretty damn quick with those phase boots, plus the Yule Scepter. If anyone does jump forward, then instantly they'll get flung up into the air. And with those vortexes covering their retreat, HEHE are going to successfully defend their tier 2 tower, but at the same time, I don't think MYM are going to want to fight at this stage. They have 10 seconds off of their exorcism. They have the Ravage still not available, so they're just going to play it slow and play it safe for just a little while longer. Hopefully get another big item for this Troll Warlord by the time those team fights do come around. But for right now, the Troll Warlord's still not building much of anything, as the Nyx Assassin is the one to pick up the item. It's the Dagon, so he'll be able to pretty much instantly kill off the Skywrath Mage, and I believe Ancient Apparition as well.
Wow, this fight is, not this fight, this game overall has been such a back and forth overall. Looking at the graphs as well, the goal lead is actually in HEHE's favor, about 3,500 almost at the moment. XP was 10k in their favor actually, dropping down to 6k now after that last horrible team fight. Ice Blast flying in there, but a little bit too late. Pipe gets activated just to make sure they don't take any more damage. The Ghost Ship coming out, and they're just using everything to make sure that they won't get killed, but it's so damn slow. If only Meteor Makers had any idea how slow they're actually doing this, but they get the Aegis onto fire again and use Stampede to just make themselves scarce.
They used absolutely everything in order to escape. They're even throwing their skills blindly in order to try to secure that, but in the end they do take the Roshan, and that's pretty good for them. They spend a lot, but I don't think MYM are going to look to punish this. They're going to go up towards the top lane for right now. Blue Banana is pretty vulnerable here, and if they catch him out with a Gush or anything like that, then a Mystic Flare will at very least force out the BKB, because they don't really have the stuns in order to make sure that they can actually kill him off.
Oh man, to be honest, Meteor Makers, if only Baby Knight had a little bit of a better farm, just had like one damaging item on top of what he already has. I mean, he's attacking pretty fast, almost 200 damage per right click as well, but somehow it just doesn't feel like it's doing too much of anything. Of course, last time around I do believe he was targeting the center War Runner for some of it, so it only makes sense that you can't do too much damage there. But they do give up on the fight. They had Exorcism, they had Ravage, every ultimate for them was up, but they decide not to take the fight.
Troll Warlord is some pretty decent late game, but still I think they're missing a pretty large opportunity here. With level 3 Ravage, level 3 Exorcism, they could very easily force a fight at this tower. Of course, they have to respect the Nyx. Maybe they don't have any sentries. No, they do have sentries. So I don't really know why they're not making a go for these tier 2 towers. I mean, Baby Knight's still not the biggest hero, but the Death Prophet is more than powerful enough to make up for that weakness in the Troll Warlord. But we right now see the Nyx Assassin stalking his prey once again. Baby Knight, how fast are you with that BKB, and can you turn it around? It looks like he might just die here. The Nyx Assassin, Vendetta, Impale is actually going to miss. Baby Knight going to get put into the bubble as the Stampede does do some pretty serious damage. That curse did land on Baby Knight. Torrent will get dodged by the BKB, but Baby Knight is going to fall all alone on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they just had no vision at all, like literally no vision on their bottom side of the map. Was a little bit too scary for him to stay there anyway, and of course Chip's Hand, having a Blink Dagger and a 4-staff on the Shadow Demon, he can get in range so damn fast. And now he's going for a BKB actually in the Kanka, so he wants to stay in the middle of the fight as well. Just get his spells off multiple times, if however possible. Ice Blast flies in mid lane, but Pipe comes out and they don't care too much as Razor. He's going for a Refresher Orb now, and I like Refresher Orb when you already have a BKB on top of the Aegis. So he should be pretty damn golden once he finishes that item.
They're going to make a go for this tier 2 tower, and they might even look to make this push go on for a little bit longer. Well, without the Eye of the Storm being full, they might decide to back off. Pushing into a Tidehunter with Ravage is always risky business, but right now Ace is still up on top lane. They're going to use the rest of the Eye of the Storm to chip down this tower, bring it down to at least half HP. It's actually going to drop here. This Eye of the Storm doing a lot more damage than I would have expected with its limited duration left. But they get the free tier 2, they get the free tier 3. I think they lose the top tier 2 tower, so it is a trade in the end, but it's definitely a trade worth taking.
Yeah, most certainly is, and with this tower going down now, fire on the center, he has himself a Heaven's Halberd as well, so gonna mitigate the Troll's usefulness even further, and just tanking himself up a little bit as well. But Aghanim Scepter is finished on Blan's Ancient Apparition, so that is a huge upgrade, although having said that, he yet still has a level 1 Ice Blast.
Yeah, that's actually pretty surprising. You rarely see level 1 Ice Blast with an Aghanimed upgrade, so it's a little bit of an awkward situation there, but still, they have the Ravage set up. If they get a good Ravage and a good Ice Blast, then MYM can very easily just clean house with the level 2 Skywrath Mage ultimate, the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. It's a devastating magic combination, and that's a combination that pretty much leaves Troll Warlord completely out of it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but at least Era at the moment for Meteor Makers, he has himself a Heart of Tarrasque finished on the Death Prophet, so he's going to be extremely hard to bring down for sure. Unless he's completely next to a double Eye of the Storm Razor. Actually, does he have it finished? Yes, he does. His Refresher Orb just finished, keeping back home, regioning up, picking up his item, and it's a huge item pickup, to be honest.
I think it's an even bigger item pickup given the fact that his BKB still has 8 seconds. If it was down to 5 or 4 or something like that, then suddenly double Eye of the Storm isn't as impressive, but he could stay very strong in those fights and take very limited amounts of damage from the magic that MYM are putting out. So he'll be able to very comfortably sit and fight with those double lightning bolts, and looks like they're just going to make a beeline for the bottom lane because MYM, they're going to make a beeline for the mid lane because MYM, they're all on the bottom lane, but they're going to be forced back for now. Crit has been picked up on the Troll Warlord, but I don't think that's enough, and Troll Warlord now, without buyback, if this fight goes south for MYM, they're going to lose Raxes at the very least.
Yeah, it's extremely scary for them at the moment, and of course Fire, he has himself an Aegis as well on the Centaur. It's going to be expiring in about 40 seconds from now though, so I'm not too sure if he want to take a chance, and looks like they don't. So are they waiting for the next set of items? Oh, Dagon level 3 is there now. So they are still hanging around. Although without the Aegis, it's a little bit scarier to fight, especially if Fire should just get surprised by his Aegis expiring in 30 seconds time and suddenly die.
Either way, Fire right up to the high ground. He's going to pop the Stampede. Who does he want to go for? Anyone he can get his hands on. That so far looks like nobody. There's the Impale onto Baby Knight plus the Dagon. Can they bring down this Troll? He does pop the BKB. In the meantime, the Rax are just being focused down by the Razor. The Centaur does lose his Aegis, but he has a Blink Dagger, so he should be just fine to escape as he does. The double Lightning Storm still going strong. His Ace does jump in for a pretty good Ravage onto 4, plus the Mystic Flare will kill off Nick Sassy. He gets put into the bubble for now. Ace getting lightning struck down by Blue Banana still with the double Eye of the Storm working away. Buyback from the Tide Hunter does try to teleport in. He will probably get the kill onto Fire at the very least, but HEHE, they've already got what they came for. They could just safely back off from here on out. They get a couple of kills. They force out the buyback from the Tide, plus they take the Raxes. Nothing but wins there for the Direst team.
Yeah, I think they could have killed Era there as well, to be honest. Because just as Nyx Assassin came in with his own stuns there, and Fire also blinked in, getting a hoof stomp onto Era, that was when the Razor backed off, although he had a double ultimate activated at the same time. But in the end, like you said, they got the objective they came for, and they only lost one hero for it, so it's an epic win for them. I think at least they will consider it as such. So 25 to 23 now the kill score. That at least would indicate that the game is pretty damn even, but just being one Rax ahead already, and looking at the graphs as well, around 8,000 gold lead and XP 10,000 for HEHE. They are looking pretty damn strong. I mean, Kanka getting more farm as well, has himself a Crystallis now all of a sudden. So net worth wise is almost at the same level as Baby Knight on the Troll.
And that's not something you want to see if you're an MYM fan right now. I think the most scary thing for the MYM side is that the push that HEHE just executed on the mid lane, nothing miraculous happened for them. Like, they didn't land a 4-man hoof stomp and then a 4-man boat or anything like that. They just very calmly moved into the towers. Centaur was on zoning duty. He did use his Aegis, which isn't the best. I mean, if they want to do that exact same thing, they're going to have to wait for a little bit longer. But Blue Banana with that double ultimate just ground up the tower before MYM could really do anything about it. And HEHE didn't expend anything. They didn't have a miraculous fight. They just had a really nice, solid, standard fight. And that is scary because that means they could just do the exact same thing again, though. Refresher Orb's still 30 seconds out. Going for this one might be a little bit ambitious for the Dire team. Ice Blast will come in. It will be blocked mostly by that pipe, but still the damage is there. Baby Knight can pop a BKB, as will Blue Banana. They're going to go toe-to-toe. Blue Banana jumping so damn quickly, however, he's going to get dropped instantly. The boat's going to come in, but it won't connect onto anyone in the room. However, it will connect onto everyone from the HEHE side. Ira going to get cursed up, and he will get forced into the air. Landon stunned in the back end. He's going to try to do as much as he can, but the Ice Blast has already been used. Baby Knight's actually brought down the Razor a lot faster than I thought.
Yeah, he got a lot of bashes going from the Berserker's Rage there. A little bit lucky maybe, plus he has a Crystallis as well, so maybe some crits there helping out. And overall, I have to agree, he just definitely went down way faster than I expected as well. But they did lose only that one. I mean, yes, it's a little bit sad that they didn't go for, or couldn't go for the tier 3 and the racks, to be honest. But at least, at the very least, Razor, he didn't have his refresher orb off cooldown at the time. So next time, when he respawns, they can just easily go in and try again with the double ultimate.
Roshan's going to be up in another minute, so if they give that one to Fire, they can do the exact same thing as they did before. But it's very important that they pull the attention off of Razor. Going for this Aghanim Scepter Refresher Orb makes him a damage powerhouse, but at the same time, he doesn't actually have that much sustain. He does have a BKB, but it's slowly running out of time. They are going to catch Fire. Stampede is there. Fire looking for a Hoof Stomp. He's going to catch Ace with it. No, it's actually going to be dodged by the Force Staff. Ice Blast going to come in, as will the boat. Hit squarely onto Ira. The Ice Blast not get hit onto anyone. Ira and Baby Knight now getting focused down by the Kunkka, but the Ravage is there. Ancient Version is ready going to go down, sniped off by the Nyx Assassin on the southern end of this fight. Looks like this fight's going to happen all of his life. Baby Knight will secure the kill onto one hero, this is the Kunkka, and now someone stuck in the corner. That's Shadow Demon. It's going to be 3 kills for MYM. After they lost the Raxes, I would have thought they would have been almost out of this game, but they're fighting back pretty hard. This Troll Warlord coming through in spades.
I mean, yes, Troll is starting to get a lot scarier than he was. Even has a Demon Edge already, so just need a little bit more gold to finish up the Daedalus. More crits, more damage, and to be honest, I have to say he extremely sloppy by them. Without the Razor being there, without the jump, I mean, the Hoof Stomp missed from Fire to begin with. Just extremely bad execution and decision making to just take that fight to begin with. I mean, probably not the biggest disaster, but they will lose the tier 2 and they have to counter lucky stars, to be honest, that Meteor Makers just didn't go check Roshan, because with the Exorcism they could have easily taken care of it.
Yeah, but they're going to take this tier 2 at the very least. There's some battle trance value. Baby Knight not even attacking on my screen. Why does he... what? Okay, Baby Knight popped off his BKB. I don't know what happened there.
I have no clue either, but is he bugged on your screen as well? Because he's gliding over the ground. I mean, even his right clicks, I didn't even see him move. I just saw little animations, just air flowing around him, more or less.
Yeah, he's definitely a little bit broken, and well, now he has a Daedalus, so he's going to hit even harder. MYM, they kind of delayed their pushing for quite a long time, with the hopes of Baby Knight getting really strong and he'll be able to, you know, 1v1 the Razor at the very least, 1v3 the enemy side maybe. He's starting to get to that point, but the BKB is only 4 seconds left for Baby Knight. He's going to need either a big survivability item or another big damage item, and then really smart uses of his BKB if they want to take these fights convincingly. But for now, Roshan is going to be the next fight. Top lane, though, is being pushed from MYM, so someone has got to deal with that.
Yeah, and it's so hard to just be behind the racks just for that same reason. You can't really contest Roche as well because you have to go and counter push it out. But Blue Banana, he has picked himself up a casual Talisman of Evasion. So the Troll, he probably won't be able to replicate what he did at the bottom lane, at least not as well. The pipe gets activated, however, he blinks in aggressively, gets the stun onto Hera, but that's about it, Ace. You can't really find the best positioning. Torrent misses as well, and are they still gonna force a fight?
MYM are going to want to fight, seeing as though HEHE have already used their pipe. So that's a lot of magic damage that would have been blocked is now going to go through for MYM, but still, HEHE, they know that they're not in any rush. They know that mid lane is pushing, they know that top lane, well, it's slowly starting to push the other way, but this tower is in danger up top. MYM, they have to stay in this area, whereas HEHE, they can farm the Ancients and, you know, do whatever they want and then slowly poke in for Roshan. MYM, they're going to have to start something.
Oh wow, this is scary to be honest for HEHE, because if they go down now, not a single hero of them has buyback. So if they lose this fight, it might as well be over if the Exorcism lasts for long enough. Oh wow.
Look at their positioning though. There is no way the Ravage is going to catch more than 2 heroes. Maybe if he goes towards the right, he catches 3, but that's jumping in blind. And Ace is going to jump right in, won't spot out anyone. Now the Tidehunter in a little bit awkward position. But HEHE, they're playing it so slow and so patiently, and I really like this from them. They know that fighting in the Roshan pit against a Tidehunter is pretty much a death sentence, so why even take that risk? you don't have to go for Roshan because mid lane is pushing in, and MYM, they're going to be forced to split their attention. Although the Era Death Prophet is certainly making good of this time, pushing out that mid lane whenever he can. But Roshan slowly getting pecked away, just occasionally when he jump in. But Ace is going to get X marks and torrented. It's going to be really a bad idea to go for this Tidehunter, but down 500 HP already. HEHE pop another pipe for this one though.
Well, Ryze has himself the Urn of Shadows, so can heal up Ace once the Soul Catcher ends. Mexican standoff, that's exactly what's going on here. I mean, the teams, they know what. It's a delicate dance, but they go in, the Blink comes out from fire, double man hoofed up. Ryze, he goes down immediately almost. There's Blue Banana with his BKB. He activates the Refresher Orb, double ultimate coming out, Baby Knight. He's just getting melted completely. He can't even take care of the center War Runner. Oh my god, it's a disaster. 2 for 0 so far, Blan on the run as well, and Era. His Exorcism, it may be strong, but it might not be strong enough as Blan. Runs away for the timing and chips high, and is he gonna go down, Era? Man, where's the help, Blue Banana? He doesn't want to go up too close either, so in the end, a 3-for-1. Era manning up enough to make sure HEHE doesn't get any more kills, but 3-for-1 in the end, and probably Roshan for HEHE as well.
So if you're Troll Warlord right now, what you don't want to do is focus fire the Centaur, because that's not going to do anything. You take a lot more damage from the turn than you actually give. If he was working on Rage the entire time, then that would have been much better for MYM, but Baby Knight just tunnel visioned on that Centaur, saw that his health pool was dropping low, and was like, yo, I could kill this horse guy, it's really gonna be easy. And it wasn't easy, he didn't even kill that hero off. So HEHE take a great fight, they take the Roshan right after, and then I think they're just going to wait for this Refresher Orb to cool down. Once that happens, it's going to be a second lane going to be pushed with the attempt to get Raxes. Also, for the record, I'm pretty sure Mexican standoff involves 3 parties, so that's just a regular standoff.
Oh man, you know a lot. Have you been a
sure.
part of one? But, man, all jokes aside, it was an excellent fight for HEHE, plus also getting the objective after that. It was the 3rd Roshan in this game, so not only do they get the Aegis, it's also gonna be cheese. HEHE is actually holding on to that on the Kanka at the moment. Razor finished up his Heaven's Halberd, still doesn't have enough for a buyback if he should die, and his BKB is down to 4 seconds as well. So might be a little bit of a worry if he just misplaced the team fight. But overall, they are getting a lot of items. I mean, Fire gonna have himself a Heart of Teresk, 3.7k HP. And to be honest, Troll having a 4-second BKB as well, up against double Heaven's Halberd. He's probably not going to be able to just output the amount of damage that he needs.
He would really like to have an Assault Cuirass because, well, first of all, Troll Warlord getting oftentimes confused on who to attack. Fire now, can they get gushed up? He will pop off the pipe. Maybe expecting a little bit more of a bigger fight, but the Nyx Assassin isn't even here. Fire gonna get slowed down 2 times by the Rod of Atos. Torrent will miss. Ancient Apparition will throw the Ice Blast. Boat's gonna come in. This is not a fight HEHE want to take anymore. Baby Knight brought the BKB and try to go for Fire again. No, the BKB is gonna be wasted this time. Ace is gonna be focused down by the Centaur. Still the Nyx Assassin slowly starting to come in. He's gonna boots travel in, but HEHE used the boat, used the pipe. It looks like no one's actually going to go down from this one, and HEHE, I think they're healthy enough to just go for it. However, they're going to have to wait another 40 seconds for Double Eye of the Storm.
It's so funny to see how Fire, he's been getting kited around so many times, but by this time now with the heart, he's just so damn tanky. He actually blinks and gets a stun to get the follow-up on Era, and he goes down immediately. Or does he? Yes, he does. He doesn't have buyback either. It might be a disaster, Baby Knight. His BKB still on cooldown. Ice Blast comes out. There's no pipe for the time being, but X marks the spot onto Baby Knight, slowed down by the Demonic Purge. And well, he doesn't have a buyback either. This might be game. Ryze gonna get jumped by HEHE, blinking, getting the impale, and well, there's no buybacks on anybody. No Ravage up because it was already used. Is this it?
I think HEHE, I've correctly identified that there are in fact no buybacks for the MYM team. They're just going to go for tier 4s. Unfortunately for them, top lane, the tier 2 is still active as Ace does drop in the end. Now Bland demonically purged or stampeded or something. Ace going to jump in, try to get something. He's one of the only heroes with buyback. Bland has one as well. But there's nothing that a Tidehunter without Ravage and Ancient Apparition could do. They're just too much power on the enemy side. So HEHE, they're going to barrel through the bottom lane and take the tier 4s very easily. Unfortunately for MYM, it looks like they have run out of gas. Disruption onto, I believe, the Tidehunter. Yes, Ace now trapped in the corner will force staff his way out, but at this point, it's, you know, it's all over. MYM, they didn't tap out until really late in the first game, but this is most certainly going to be GG, going the way of HEHE in a 2-1 series.
Yeah, just great series overall, to be honest. And perfect ending. I mean, first game was kind of stompish, or rather a convincing win for HEHE. Second game, Meet Your Makers just looking extremely strong, and third game, so even, lots of back and forth, so perfect final if you ask me.
Yep, that's the dream. That's what you want to see. So that is going to be it for this Season 2 finals. Don't ask why it's Season 2. There were delays on delays on delays. But yeah, it's going to be HEHE taking this one 2-1 over MYM. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then be sure to follow HeflaTV, the Twitch channels, plus the Twitter and Facebook. It's all HeflaTV except for the VODs on YouTube. That's going to be HeflaMoke. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Indeed, and of course, if you like the casters personally, it's going to be at Coacher for me on Twitter if you want to leave some feedback. At Mike Lores, which you can see at the right side of the screen as well, the name, just put an at in front of it. Just leave us some feedback, follow us, and, well, you'll know when we're going live by HeflaTV's Twitter and Facebook anyway as well. So, once again, thanks from me as well personally, just for watching, guys, and supporting the league as well as the teams. And if you want to support HeflaTV directly as well, you can subscribe always, getting some cool emotes. You probably have seen those in the chat as well. But yes, this is gonna be it, so we're just signing off and hope you have a good evening.
Later guys, GG.